Frank Lampard should act as a warning to all talented players, because he became the player he became not because of his natural born gifts. In fact, he became a world-class player and one of the Premier League all-time greats, even though he didn't excel at youth level. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how Frank Lampard did succeed, why the best players train harder than everyone else, and how you can too. So when you think of Frank Lampard, what do you think about? Maybe you think about his recent experiences in management. Now, personally, I think Chelsea came a little early this time round, but if he still wants to pursue management, I have absolutely no doubt that he's going to be back making his mark in a very big way in football management. And why can I be certain of this? It's because what I think about when I think of Frank Lampard. Now, when we look at what he has achieved as a player, Frank Lampard, one of England's best ever players, Chelsea's top goal scorer in their history, numerous Premier League titles, Champions League winner, Football Writers Player of the Year, even a Ballon d'Or runners-up. But despite all the goals, all the awards, all of the trophies, Frank Lampard did not make it in the game to the amazing levels that he did because it came naturally to him. Now, if you listen to people that were close to him when he was growing up, there were many players who were much better than him. And even as he was progressing through West Ham, a lot of these players were better than Frank. Now, I should imagine that most of these players that were better than Frank as he was coming through, you've never heard of. And why have you never heard of these guys? It's because they simply didn't go on to make it in the game. And even those that did, they certainly got nowhere near the levels that Frank Lampard achieved. Now, his uncle, Harry Redknapp, often says that he has never seen a player work so hard on making improvements than Frank. And here is just one of the snippets of Harry talking about his nephew on Sky Sports.
I would look out of my office at Chadwell Heath at when I was at West Ham, and 200 yards in the distance, raining, getting dark, 4 o'clock, winter's day, there'd be Frank, bag of balls, shooting, left foot, left foot, picking the balls, going back again, round the cone, left foot shot, right, putting his spikes on, doing his sprints. The first time I ever saw him do it, I called the groundsman and I said, someone's over there, jumped over the fence, there's a nutter over there, running up and down. I said, he went, no, it's young Frank. And that's what he wanted. He wanted it so bad. He used to go home and run around the streets at night, put a wetsuit on or dustbin line, go and have a run.
So Frank Lampard became the player that he was because of the drive and the desire for consistent and never-ending improvement. Now, why should this matter to you? It's because it does not matter who is better than you right now. If you go out on the training pitch and there are 7 or 8 players that are better than you at this very moment, that is only how things are right now. Football, like anything else in this world, is all about heart, pushing and driving yourself to get better and better, putting that effort in training today to push yourself towards improvement. It's not to make you a superstar overnight, but if you do this consistently, you never know where this can take you. Now, if you make a 1% improvement each day over the next year, it's not a 365% improvement. This is because you're making improvements on the improvements, growth on top of growth. A 1% improvement over just 1 year is actually a 3,700% improvement. So you can see the opportunity for you, and it's all about getting that drive and starting on this journey of progress as soon as possible. Like that saying goes, the best time to start working on this was yesterday. The next best time is right now, or at least as soon as you can. And then when you're on this journey, it's consistency. when it's lashing down with rain, when it's cold, when other players don't quite fancy it. That is absolutely fine. They can slow down and they can stop their progress, but you need to remain relentless in your approach. When it snows, when it rains, strong winds, that should fill you with satisfaction, knowing that these are the best times for you, because all those players that don't have the heart that you have, they will not be making the progress right now, but you will. It's the time where you accelerate past them with your progress. Now, not only is this video here to inspire and show players that they can achieve so much no matter where they are right now, it is also a warning. Players that are gifted, players that are at the top of their group right now. If you're one of these players, you're at risk of going nowhere in the game. Now, I work at the highest levels in football. I work with Premier League and international players, and I see it all the time. The most gifted players at an early age that have never had to put in the effort to be the standout player. And if you're one of these players, a young player that is brilliant, excels on the pitch right now, you have a massive opportunity. A massive opportunity to do something very, very special in the game. But if you follow the same path like so many players have before you, you will be the weakest in your progress, stagnating in your development, regressing in your improvement, and it's through no fault of your own. The blessing of being a brilliant player can end up being a curse. You haven't ever needed to have the drive and the heart of a player like Frank Lampard, and that's been fine for you. You've been able to excel through youth football and maybe the early stages of your career. But then when times do get tough, you haven't conditioned that work ethic, that relentlessness, no matter what the conditions, no matter who is writing you off, to go out, to push yourself to getting better. And if you're one of these talented players, the same advice applies to you. From today, or as soon as you can, you need to get out and start training like you're not the best player. Train and work on improvement like Frank Lampard. Most of the very best players in the game right now had no right to become the players that they've become, but they worked on it. But once in a while, a very gifted player has the same work ethic as someone who is not gifted. And this, although rare, is a very, very powerful combination. Now, the one player that really jumps out when I think about this is Cristiano Ronaldo, a player that was levels and levels and levels above everyone else throughout his whole career. A player that could easily have let up, relaxed, and been happy with what he had become at 18, 19, 20 years old. Yet, he continued to push himself as hard and as intelligently as anyone else in the game. He has worked every day, almost like his life depended upon it. But he was already brilliant at a very young age. So to finish, whatever your ability is that you have right now, do not let this be the ability that you have tomorrow, next week, next year. Always be striving for consistent and never-ending improvement. Because when you make that commitment to yourself, you have absolutely no idea right now just how far you could get in the game.